Hey, what's up everyone? My name's Chris Winter and welcome to part 1 of my Canon 80D tutorial. In this video I'm going to go through all the buttons and dials on the camera and kind of tell you exactly what they do and how you can use them. Now make sure to subscribe as I'm going to be making lots of Canon 80D tutorial videos, and also check out my top 10 list of the best lenses for the Canon 80D. Now I go into a lot of detail explaining which ones would be good for you and why. Now I'll put a link in the description box below if you want to check that out later on. But anyway, let's take a look at the buttons on this new camera. So the very first thing that we're going to do with the camera to make sure it's going to be able to turn on is to flick open the battery door and see if we've got a battery in here. Now this is an LPE6 battery, and all you need to do is put it in with the arrow facing forward, click it in, and then close the battery door. Now we should be able to turn the camera on. To do this, all you need to do is hit the off-on button, slide that to the right, and you'll hear that the camera is now on. So at the top here we have our mode dial or mode switch. To turn this switch, what you need to do is actually press down this little center button and then you'll be able to turn it. Now if you try to turn it without it, it's actually going to be locked. So if you ever find yourself that you can't turn this switch, that's probably because it's locked. So simply turn it and then you can choose the different mode that you want to be in. Now I normally shoot in AV mode or aperture priority mode, but you can shoot in any different mode that you want. Moving down, we've now got the menu and info button. Now these are two buttons that you'll use quite a lot. The menu button obviously takes you into your menu system, and you've got to remember on your Canon 80D you've got a touch screen, so there's a few different ways of getting around your menu. You can use this little button here to just click through, or you can use this scroll wheel to move through, or do what a lot of people do, and what I do quite often is just use the touch screen. And in fact, using the touch screen is the quickest way to get through the menus because you don't actually have to scroll your way all the way through. So you'll be in the menu quite often because you'll probably want to change quite a lot of settings. Now there are lots of settings that you can change. For instance, if you want to change your image quality, or if you want to change it to a RAW or a JPEG photo, you can do that really quite easily. I normally shoot in JPEG and RAW, but sometimes if you want to save a little bit of space and you're running out of memory, you can actually shoot in a medium-sized JPEG. It's only going to make your image sizes a little bit smaller. You can change things like image review, how long the image is going to stay on your camera so you can have a look at it. I normally have it at about 4 seconds, and you can turn the beep on and off, just in case you're in a quiet setting. There are lots of different things that you can go through, but I'll make a separate video about this in the near future, but that's pretty much your menu settings. Now, if we've got the info setting right here, what I'm going to just do is take off this lens cap. You'll actually be able to see that when I press info, different things are coming up on the screen. Now we're in video mode at the moment, and you can see every time I press info, it brings up something different. Now at the moment, we've got this little level here, so when it turns green, right there, that means that it's going to be level. So you can choose how much you want on the screen and how much you want off the screen. Sometimes I like shooting with nothing on it at all, but then it's also nice to be able to see your exposure and the different settings that you're going to be having. Now, if we move across to the right a little bit, like I said, I was in video mode before, so essentially, if you flick that one up there, we're going to be into stills mode. Now, not much is on the screen right now, so what we're going to actually have to do is hit the info button if we want to see a little bit more, and then we've got all of the detail here for stills mode. So the way to be shooting now is through the viewfinder, which is right here. You can also shoot with the LCD screen in stills mode simply by hitting the start stop button, and now you're shooting with the LCD screen. So if you've ever shot with a camera or a phone, you'll be quite used to this, but a lot of DSLR shooters do still shoot with the viewfinder. Now moving down here we have the Q button, and a lot of people don't really know what the Q button is. It's essentially going to be your options button. So if we hit the Q button here, you can see all the different options that we can change. So we're in movie mode again, and I can choose the autofocus method. So if I want to have face tracking autofocus, or if I want to have a center point autofocus. You can change the movie record size, so I can have it in 60 frames per second if I want to do some slow motion, or if I want to do it in 30 frames per second, which is what I shoot most of my videos in. You've also got a digital zoom option on the 80D. You can choose your headphone volume, your white balance, your picture style. There's a lot of things that you can choose for. So the Q button's going to be one button that you use quite a lot. Now, if we move down, we've got another button here, and this is a playback button. So this is essentially where you can check all the photos that you've taken. So if we hit this button here, you can actually see this is the last photo that I took. Now, there are a few ways of moving across and seeing your photos. You can swipe across like you would do on your phone, or you can use these buttons right here on the side as well. Now, if you want to play a video like I've got right here, all you need to do is hit the play button. This is just a short video that I took. Or you can hit the set button as well, and that'll play it. And there are a couple of different options that you have here. So I'm just going to hit that again. Now, there's another thing that we can do actually with this photo here. If we want to zoom in, there are a few different options that you can do. You can actually pinch to zoom like you would do on your phone as well. Or what I normally do is hit one of these two buttons up here. We've got the zoom in and zoom out button, and you can zoom in just to check that your photo is sharp, or if you liked the photo at all. You can zoom all the way out, and there you go. Now at the bottom here we have another button that hopefully you won't use too much, but I'm sure you will. It's the trash can button, and essentially this is going to allow you to delete your photos. You hit that one, you'll get asked if you want to erase it, and then you hit erase. Now there is one other way to erase your photos, and that's by going to menu, and we're going to go all the way across to the little spanner up here, and we're going to go to format card. Now what this is going to do is actually wipe your whole card, so you've got to be a little bit careful that you're ready for it, but if you want to wipe your card properly, then you'll want to format your card. Now, how do we save our photos? Well, if we move to the side of the camera here, we've got our SD card slot. So to open this, you press that down, and as you can see, we have an SD card in here. Now, these are pretty cheap these days. You can get a 32GB card for around about $12, so they're incredibly cheap. And the way that it goes in is like this. Now, you don't want to put it in this way because it won't go in, and sometimes you can damage your card. So you want to put it in, it'll click in, and then you can close it. Now, at the top of your camera on the 80D, we've got something that's really quite nice, and that's this top LCD screen. And as you can see right here, we've got all this extra information that we can see without having to look either through the viewfinder or on the back LCD screen. So we can see our shutter speed, our aperture, how many photos we've got left, our exposure compensation, our ISO, the battery, and whether or not Wi-Fi is on. Now there are a few other buttons at the top here which I use quite often. Now there's the autofocus mode, you can choose it to one shot, AI focus or AI servo. If you want to change your drive speed to shooting just one shot or a single shot or multiple shots, you can change your ISO, and this is something that a lot of people change quite often. A lot of people will set it to auto, and you've also got your metering mode as well. Now if you can't see anything, or if it's a little bit too dark, you can press this little lamp switch here, and as you can see, it's going to turn on a light, which can be good at nighttime. Now on the top of the camera here, we have this little dial right here, which will allow you to change your settings. As you can see right now, this is changing my aperture, and we also have one here at the back. Now if we move to the front of the camera right here, we have the button that everyone likes to press, and that's the shutter button. So as you can see, you can actually half press this, and that's how a lot of people will autofocus. You'll half press it, you won't press it down fully, and that should lock in your autofocus. But if you want to take a photo, all you need to do is press it down, and you'll hear that it's taken a photo. So we'll do that again, and that is taking the photo. Now we've got a kit lens on here at the moment, which means it's the lens that comes with the actual body. It's the 18 to 55mm STM lens, and it's not a bad lens. On the front of the lens here, we've got the autofocus and manual focus switch, which will allow you to change between auto and manual, and also the image stabilization switch, which is something that I recommend having on most of the time. Now if we want to take the lens off and on, all you need to do is press down the button, twist it to the left, and then there you go. Now, you don't want to leave your lens off too much because there's some really important things in here which you wouldn't want to get dust and debris in. So let's put the lens back on. So what we're going to do is we're going to match up this white dot to this white dot, and we're going to twist it. Now on the side here we have a few different mic jacks and headphone jacks. So to open that up, we just open it up. We've got a mic input, so if you want to get some better quality microphone, better quality sound, sorry, you can put a microphone in there. And the new feature on the 80D is this headphone jack, which you simply just put in there. Let's close that one up right there. At the bottom we have a spot for your intervalometer, which will allow you to take time lapses. And the last little port right here, which can be a little bit tricky to open, is your USB cable slot and an HDMI out slot. So the last thing to show you is the LCD screen, which can open up like this. And I use this actually quite a lot because I film myself, and what I'll do is switch it around so I can see myself. Now you've got to be a little bit careful with this LCD screen because you don't want to twist it too much because that's as far as it's going to go. Now if you do try and twist it anymore, you could break it. So be a little bit careful, and I'll also twist down to around about there. Now if you are traveling, I do recommend closing it up like this so the actual screen is hidden behind there and you've got this to protect it. Now just a few other things. If you do want to use the on-camera flash, all you need to do is press this button and it should pop up. And the other thing is, this is your hot shoe mount. So if you want to put a flash on there, or if you want to put a microphone on there, you can use that to slide it on. So there you go guys, hopefully that video helped you a little bit and you're on your way to using your new Canon 80D. Now make sure to subscribe as there'll be more videos coming out very soon, and also definitely check out my top 10 list of the best lenses for the Canon 80D. I'll put a link in the description box below under this video and you can check it out. Hope you guys have a fantastic day and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.